couple of years ago, I was doing market research for my podcast and I got to interview a couple of people working a corporate job who felt they had been called to start a service-based business. And as I interviewed them, I noticed one common thread. There was this hesitation. Some of them said they wanted more clarity. Some said they wanted more time. Some said they wanted more certainty. Others said they needed a clearer sign from God. What if the delay or the hesitation isn't neutral? What if their hesitation is not just affecting them alone, but the very people God has assigned them to serve? In today's episode, I'm sharing a truth I had to confront myself. You see, I spent 7 years chasing fulfillment on a path God never designed to fulfill me. I was productive at my job, yet quietly hesitating the call underneath. And while I waited, the people I was meant to serve went without what God had already placed inside of me to serve them. Now, if you feel that same tension, you're not alone. Tune out the road noise, lean in, and let's get started. Welcome to Start That Business podcast, where I help professionals working a corporate job step boldly into their God-given calling to start a service-based business. If that sounds like you, you are in the right place. My name is Chichi Okomadu. I'm a Jesus follower, a business strategist, and an implementation coach. I knew I was called to start a business, but I struggled with lack of clarity, self-doubt, and the fear of losing a stable income. My lack of courage kept me stuck in corporate until I traded it for faith and obedience to God's calling. I left corporate, built a 7-figure service-based business, and ran it for 13 years. Now I want to help you do the same. You don't have to stay stuck in fear, self-doubt, lack of clarity, because God has already equipped you to launch the business He has placed on your heart. It's time to partner with God and start that business. Your expertise is needed, your calling is real, and I'm here to help you make it a reality. If I was to pick one Bible character in the Bible to explain my transition from a failed corporate career to starting a service-based business, the story of Jonah will be my story. And the reason I say that is I used to be a Jonah. And maybe you can relate to. Now, if you've never heard the story about Jonah, Jonah was a prophet in the Bible, and God told him or gave him an assignment or calling to go and preach to a people group in a place called Nineveh. Now, Jonah did not just resist, he ran. So imagine that Jonah is living in the United States and God tells him, Jonah, I need you to go to California and preach to a group of people in California. Jonah goes to UnitedAirlines.com, buys a ticket to travel to Alaska. So that's what the story will look like if we were to retell the story of Jonah in this day and age. Jonah resisted the calling because he didn't want to go. What Jonah didn't realize was that there were so many people attached to his yes. The impact of his yes was going to bring so many people to salvation. So, like I said, this is my story. I had a failed corporate career for 7 years. I searched for fulfillment where God never promised me fulfillment. And I kept insisting on my way. But like God was with Jonah, He patiently guided him by causing a big fish to swallow him, and the fish spat him right in the place where God had sent in to go preach in the first place. So I believe that until we name the real issue, we can't fix it. So the number one mistake that is keeping your calling from reaching the people it was meant to serve is you're fighting your calling instead of yielding to it. That's exactly what I was doing. I fought my calling to start a business, and what was really happening was there was a tension inside of me. It was the tension of the certainty of a corporate paycheck and the uncertainty of starting a business. There were so many unknowns when it came to starting a business, so many things I didn't know. And this tension, it was like a fight that was happening inside of me. So it made me resist, and I fought that nudge to go start a business. It was like an internal battle inside of me, a battle between what felt responsible and what God was asking me to trust Him with. Like, God, you're telling me to let go of this corporate job, my benefit package, health insurance, all those nice things, and trust you with a business that I never know anything about? Let's just call it what it is. That tension is as a result of not just fear, not just waiting, but what I call delayed obedience wrapped in good reasons. And you know what they say about delayed obedience? Delayed obedience is actually disobedience. And why do we even fight our calling in the first place? We fight because we believe our way is better than God's way, or our timing is better than God's timing. We fear the lack of provision. It was such a palpable fear for me because I'm like, I get paid every 2 weeks. I love that paycheck hitting my account. It feels so good. Now I'm going to a business where I don't even know if anybody's going to buy from me. So that fear of lack of provision was real. We don't want to be a public failure. It's one thing to fail privately, but to start a business and fail in front of the whole world, that is so nerve-wracking. We're also afraid of choosing wrong. There are a lot of people out there claiming to help and do so many things, and some people have actually gotten scammed. So there's that fear of, okay, what if I choose the wrong coach to help me? What if I spend all this money and I don't even get the help I'm looking for? I don't want to disappoint my family because it's a huge investment to go start a business. Sometimes it's the fact that we want a guarantee before we obey. It's like we want God to give us this already finished business. Everything is already set up. Then we just walk into it and we have this guarantee that is going to succeed and all of that. But what we do not realize is the hidden cost of fighting your calling. Now, when you fight your calling, the cost is not just personal to you. It also affects the people that you are supposed to bless as a result of doing that thing which God has called you to do. It reminds me of the story of the Israelites coming out of Egypt. And when God went to Moses to have a conversation with him, Moses hesitated. It wasn't only his destiny that was on the line when he was hesitating. Millions of Israelites remained in bondage. Their freedom was tied to Moses' obedience. So as God was having the conversation, trying to convince Moses to go do this thing, millions of Israelites remained in bondage. God's deliverance for the Israelites, for an entire people group, was waiting on one man's yes, and that was Moses. And it was the same for me. While I resisted my calling to start my first service-based business, the people that I would later serve through that business. They stayed stuck in systems that didn't work for them, families who needed reliable access to goods, opportunity, dignity. They went without, not because God didn't provide, but because I hadn't stepped fully into obedience yet. There were employees whose salaries were tied to my company. There were vendors whose businesses were tied to my company. So all these people were going without, all the while I was resisting my calling. So I was not just the only one who was getting affected. As at the time I closed the business last year, we had in our database 80,000 plus registered customers on our database. So all the while I was resisting the calling, these were people that stayed stuck in systems or solutions that were not working. I wasn't just denying my purpose, I was delaying the impact that was attached to it. You see, while you wait to get more clarity, to get more certainty, to get a clearer sign from God, someone is struggling with a problem you are uniquely equipped to solve. Someone is praying for help that looks like the expertise God has placed inside of you. While you are waiting, someone's blessing that comes through the business you're going to launch is being postponed, is being delayed. You see, your obedience isn't just about fulfillment, it's about stewardship. What God has placed in you was never meant to stop with you. It was meant to move through you. And that is the kind of impact I saw with my global logistics company. That company impacted so many lives. If you're ready to stop fighting your calling, if you're ready to start your service-based business with wisdom and clarity, I invite you to book a free discovery call. Go to From Job to Business to book your free discovery call. On the call, we will uncover what is blocking you from starting, the problems those blockers are creating, how to overcome them with clarity and confidence. By the end of the call, you will know the next best step to launch your service-based business while working your corporate job. So how do we fix this mistake? How do we go from not fighting our calling to actually yielding to it? So the first thing is to stop fighting what God has already made clear to you. You don't need more clarity. You don't need more certainty. You don't need a clearer sign. Even if all you have is just a nudge, just a feeling, it's enough for you to stop fighting and move with that feeling. Once you stop fighting, the next thing you need to do is to surrender, not recklessly, but wisely. That's why I say you can start the business while you're working your corporate job. You're surrendering to the calling, but you're not doing it recklessly. You're doing it from your current season and preparing for the next. I want you to understand this. The fulfillment you're seeking is on the other side of your obedience. The next thing you need to do is, after you've stopped fighting the calling, you've surrendered, you need to yield to your calling. Now, yielding doesn't mean you quit your job right now or you quit your job tomorrow. Yielding means, how can I start doing something about this business God has placed in my heart while I'm still where I am right now, while I'm still working my corporate job? Without quitting my corporate job yet, how can I start doing something about it? So yielding means saying yes and moving forward with the right strategy and support. You're transitioning with God. You are not ahead of Him and you are not in resistance to Him, but you are walking with Him to start that transition while you're still working your corporate job. Fighting your calling doesn't protect you. it delays the impact God has already prepared for you. Obedience is not reckless. Obedience can be aligned. Obedience can be strategic. God-level fulfillment flows from yielding and not resisting. Like I said before, the fulfillment you're seeking is on the other side of what you have been called to do. And I know I say this all the time when I'm ending this podcast, but I just want to say it again so that it can really resonate with you. Your calling is real. The world needs the expertise God has placed inside you. And obedience doesn't start with perfection. It starts with a willing yes. And you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to stop fighting and start walking step by step. I'm here to help you make your calling a reality, not recklessly, but with wisdom, with the right strategy, one step at a time. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I pray it made you feel seen, taught you something new, and encouraged you to take action. If so, would you please share this episode with someone in your world who needs help to transition from a corporate job to a thriving business? If today's episode resonated with you and you're ready to move from wondering to doing, I invite you to go to FromJobToBusiness.com to book your transition clarity call today. In just 60 minutes, you will get clarity from where you are now to where God is calling you to be in your business. You will leave with confidence and concrete next steps. Lastly, it will be a huge blessing to me if you could leave a review for this podcast on Apple Podcasts or the podcast app you are using to listen. This is the number one way I know you are getting value from the podcast. Until next time, always remember your expertise is needed, your calling is real, and I'm here to help you make it happen. So keep listening for more episodes. I'll meet you here next week.